It's not a coup they're staging. They're saying it's not a military takeover. There's a statement which says, "We wish to assure the nation that the president and his family are safe and sound and their security is guaranteed." They went on to say that the situation would return to normal once, as they put it, criminals around the president who'd caused social and economic suffering have been brought to justice.
And just for a bit of context, if people are not that familiar with what's going on there, the country's been run as a very tight ship, hasn't it? This is unprecedented, isn't it?
Yes, Mr. Mugabe's been in charge since 1980, when the country became independent after a liberation war. He won the elections then, and ever since he's completely dominated the country. I was based in Zimbabwe for a while. I can't remember anything like this since independence. It's absolutely unprecedented. What Mr. Mugabe has done has dominated political life so much that there's been no breathing space for anybody else to rival him or to pose any sort of major competition. And when competition does appear, he deals with it violently. At the moment, there appears to be a split between Mr. Mugabe and at least some elements of the military, and that's never happened before.
And it looked as though his wife, Grace, was closing in on the presidency, certainly, first of all, the vice presidency. Then we had the ruling party accusing the head of the military of treason because he intervened on behalf of another senior officer.
Yes, essentially, there's a struggle for power. Who's going to take over once Robert Mugabe is no longer in office? And we should remember, again, he's 93 years old. He can't stay there forever. And what's happened in the last few years is that his wife, Grace Mugabe, who's more than 40 years younger than him and is very ambitious, has gradually sidelined possible successors, including a former Vice President, Joyce Majuro, a couple of years ago, and just last week, Emerson Mnangagwa, another Vice President. What's happened now in the last week or so is reverberations from that, with the army essentially saying, we support Emerson Mnangagwa and not Grace Mugabe. So there's a power struggle being played out, and it's very notable that we've heard nothing from Mr. Mugabe himself. In previous years, well, this wouldn't have happened in previous years, but in previous years he'd have been completely on top of it, and you would have heard from him. Nothing from Mr. Mugabe so far.
All right, a lot to keep an eye on there. Grant, thank you very much indeed.